Here we go again. Big news and big changes coming as they just announced them today that there is some tuning. Now, I'm not going to go through all the dungeon tuning. I'll post this in the description. You can read this at will, but there is a ton of dungeon changes. The biggest take is 10% off the health of all, I believe, NPCs. Creatures have been reduced by 10% in Mythic and Mythic Keystone dungeons. So that is all of them. Everything has a 10% health nerf, which is very interesting. I haven't seen that before. But a lot of damage reduction going in on these dungeons. So they are nerfing the majority of these dungeons. You can go through and see all these for yourself. I'm not going to go through them, like I said. I'm more interested in the class tuning that came out after. There is a ton of class tuning going on, and we'll go through this. So this is huge for tanks. They are just giving massive DPS increases to tanks. And to show you what these are going to do, for the most part, now this isn't going to be the same with all the new tier sets and everything, but we'll just have this list ready to go. Blood Decay, all abilities, 20% damage increase. Then we move into Demon Hunter. The hunt damage increased by 8%. Sigil of Spite damage increased by 8%. And then you get into the Reaver hero talents. Physical damage to enemies also deal 20% of their damage dealt to your mark target as chaos. We are mostly happy with Wounded Quarry's new effect in 1.1 or 11.1, but the soul generation component of it previously affected was important to pacing of the Reaver's gameplay and the mechanics in order to match the overall intended gameplay. So they fixed a couple issues. Fellscar Demon Surge damage 18%. And then Fellbound bonus from Immolation increased to 50 was 30%. So big changes for Demon Hunter. This might press them way up there. So this is going to go even farther. All abilities for Havoc 5%. That's really great because they're playing well now. They just needed some damage buffs to get up there into the A tier. Dancing Blade damage increased by 33%. Does not affect Death Sweep. So very interesting. Immolation Aura by 12. Fixed an issue. And then the tier set now grants 2% crit strike chance per stack sacrificed was 1. So double the crit strike chance. Vengeance, 20%. We've noticed damage dealt to tanks. They're trying to keep pace with damage dealers, which makes sense. Like, tanks were falling behind pretty quick. Demon Surge damage, now reduced by 10%, was 20%. Druid. So now requires players to remain in cat form for 2 seconds, modified by haste to retain cat form crit bonus. They enter cat form by casting Skull Bash with fluid form. We do not want to incentivize players to do inconvenient or unintuitive rotations to maintain Lycra's teaching buff from off-spec forms. This change is intended to remove incentives for Resto Druid to cast Skull Bash on cooldown to trigger cat form. Okay. Guardian Druid, that's the third tank, 20%. So they are buffing them all. But not all of them are getting 20%. Spoiler alert. Master Shapeshifter now refunds 30% less mana from caster form spells. Good old Evoker. Disintegrate now displays more. Okay, just visualization changes. Don't care. Augment. Here we go. More nerfs. Come on. Rumbling Earth deals 30% of upheaval damage was 50. Perfect. Fixed an issue, don't care. Liberation, Undermine set, chance to trigger has been reduced by 35%, even better. And now the 4 set bonus has a 50% chance to trigger Essence Burst was 100%. Beautiful. Big Aug nerfs, well, not big, but some Aug nerfs, will put it that way, which is a good thing because everyone's sick and tired of seeing them in an S tier must-have spec. Devastation, all abilities by 4%. Good. Beastmaster, Beast Cleave effectiveness reduced to 80% was 90, so a little reduction there. Kill Cleave, same thing. Call of the Wild now reduces cooldown of Barb Shot and Kill Command by 25% per pet summoned was 50. So big change there. Couple fixing issues. So they are trying to bring Beastmaster down a little bit. It was pumping on the PTR. Absolutely pumping. Marksman. What is this? Precise shot stack chance increased to 100% was 50. Cool. Bullet hell rapid fire cooldown reduction increased to 0.3 seconds, and volley cooldown reduction increased to 0.5 seconds, was 0.25 for both. Not really sure what the effect of that will be. Aspect of the Hydra, secondary spell effect increased to 60%, was 40. So a little buff for marksman there too. Survival, flanking strike damage increased by 30. Fury of the Eagle damage increased by 20, and Fury of the Eagle now splashes beyond 8 units, was 5. So nice little buffs for them. Pack leader, Fury of the Wildfire Bomb extension increased to 5 seconds, was 2 seconds. Mirrors now have their Frostbolt missiles hidden for allies in raids and dungeons. Okay. Arcane Echoes impacts visuals now. Caster only. Cool. Frost, fire specifically. Excess frost now reduces the cooldown of meteor by 5 seconds when consumed, was 3. Oh, okay. So buff to reduce cooldown of meteor. Cool. Isothermic core now causes Comet Storm at 250% effectiveness, was 200. So nice little buff there. Flash freeze burn can no longer trigger from combustion, granted from Sun King's blessing or time anomaly. Okay. Combined was a large contributor to the resource and proc overflow mages can experience while using the hero talent tree. To remain consistent, we've also adjusted the effect for frost mage as well. So we'll have to test this out to see if this is an overall bad thing combined with the shorter cooldown. So we'll see. Blizzard damage reduced by 10%. Interesting. Flash freeze can no longer trigger from icy veins granted by a time anomaly. Okay. Brewmaster, all ability damage increased by 15%. Here's the first one that didn't get a 20% increase. And again, Brewmaster used to be the top damaging tank. But again, we've seen Hot Paladin just trample over it now. Just ridiculous. Blood decays right there. So you lose your survivability majority. They are still decently tanky, but not as tanky as some others. And you don't do the most damage anymore. So, fun fact, we're only getting 15. Everyone else, 20 so far. So Blood decays actually will surpass Brewmaster in damage now. So they're falling down the list as, Brew doesn't get love from Blizzard too often. Mistweaver. Oh, and here comes some nerfs. Master, Gust of Mist healing decreased by 10%. Jade Bond now increases the healing and Gust of Mist by 20%, was 40. So half. You're getting half there. We're getting a 10% decrease of Gust, so they are trying to gut some Gust healing. Rushing Wind Kick now increases Renewing Mist healing by 150%, was 100. What the fuck is going on here? Okay, so they want you to run Rushing Wing Kick. Interesting. Sure. I'll have to get into these other nerfs, but we'll see how it plays out. Resplendent Mist now increases Gust of Mist healing by 60 and 120. So another Gust of Mist nerf. And Manatee now refunds 15% less mana. So Manatee nerf and a whole shit ton of Gust of Mist nerfs. That's going to be interesting. Very interesting. We'll have to see where that's going to land at. Unfortunately, yeah, that means I guess they were probably the second best healer going into this, so probably expect some Disc Priest Nerf Sun, I would assume, as the number one healer currently. And going into the patch. Beacon of Virtue now costs 4.5% base, so 0.5% mana. Who cares? Maybe Holy Paladins care about the 0.5% on Beacon, but sure. Prop Pally, all the damage by 15%. So the same amount that Brew only gets 15. The ones way up here also get 15. That makes sense, Blizzard. Yeah, let's have back-to-back Prop Pally. It's definitely, as of right now, going to be a Vengeance Prop Pally meta. Retribution, Final Reckoning damage increased by 75%. An issue causing Divine Hammer duration to be extended more than expected has been resolved. Okay. Herald of the Sun. Second Sunrise has been updated. Divine Storm and Hammer Wrath has a 20% chance to cast again at 50% effective. So a buff to that in Herald of the Sun. And Sun's avatar damage increased by 50%. Okay, there you go. Little Herald of the Sun buffs. So here's the Disc Priest. And Atonement Healing Impact visuals now hidden for... The fuck? you nerf Mistweaver and don't touch Disc? I'm surprised there's actually no holy buffs here, but what the fuck is Mistweaver getting nerfed for? Fucking Disc Priest, #1 healer's not getting nerfed. That's okay. Okay, so Disc Priest, so far holding up meta as well for another second season in a row. Shaman, Elemental, Chain, Lightning Overload is no longer displayed. Oh, fuck, I don't care about this shit. Just display things for, and then like people won't see it. Allies won't see it. Cool. Enhancement. Odd hand duration reduced to 6 seconds was 8. Okay, so nerfed. Ashen Catalyst now increases the damage of Lava Lash by 8% per stack, was 12%. That's a decent sized nerf. Chain Lightning now increases the damage of your next Crash Lightning by 10% per target struck, was 20. Okay, big nerf, 50% there. Electrostatic Wager now increases the damage of Crash Lightning by 15% per stack, was 18. So another nerf to Lightning. Jeez, the Crash Lightning's taking a beating. Chain Lightning damage reduced by 15%. Nerfed. Wind Fury attack damage 10. Nerfed. Now increases damage of Chain Lightning on main target. What the? So single target buff. AoE nerf. So your 4-set now increases damage of Chain Lightning, or sorry, Crash Lightning on main target by 100%, was 75. So, okay. A single target buff, and then some pretty substantial. I don't want to say they're too crazy, but some nerfs there in the AoE. Stormbringer, Tempest secondary target damage reduced by 15%. Whew. Lightning Rod now deals 8% of damage dealt by Maelstrom weapon spenders, was 10. So that's going to be also a decent sized nerf, 20% on the Lightning Rod. Totemic. Pulse Capacitor now increases the damage of Surging Totem Tremor by 18%, was 25. So fuck, another one. Now they are hitting the enhance pretty hard here with some nerfs. Surging Totem Tremor damage reduced by 10%. So you're getting a reduction by 10%, and Pulse Capacitor, the increase to Surging Totem is also nerfed. Restoration Healing Wave now costs 2.5% of base mana, was 3. Cool. Warrior, more warrior buffs. Arms, Mortal Strike 20%, Overpower 20%, Execute 20%, Slam 20%, Whirlwind damage 40. Holy. Colossus, all demolish damage increased by 30%. Practice strikes include mortal cleave damage by 20%, was 15, so just a 5 there, and then a 2 on the rend and deep wounds. Interesting. Okay. Slayer, just increased to 25. Opportunist, 25 was 20. Fury, Whirlwind by 30, Onslaught by 30, Mountain Thane, Hero Talent, Thunderblast by 25, and Strength of the Mountain increases Bloodthirst damage by 25, was 30. So a nerf here, and then a couple other buffs. So I think Arms is actually ahead of Fury, basically on the PTR now, and I think this is going to really widen a bit of a gap here between them. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think. Yeah, I think that's going to be a lot better for Arms. I think they might pull ahead here. Protection, Warrior, all ability damage by 20, and then Thunderblast damage by 10. So the only tanks to get a 15 are Prot and Brew. Everyone else is 20. I did some calculations, and Blood's actually overpassing Brew basically on this damage profile. So, yeah, we'll see how these play out. There's some delve information, and then, like I said, I'm going to link the dungeon nerfs as well. So if you have any questions, as always, let me know below. And don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. And we'll see you in the next video.